The views expressed in this video presentation are my opinions and not necessarily the opinions of guests and others sharing or reposting this video. The content is produced only for educational and informational purposes. Do not regard any statements in this video as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. Investing comes with risk to loss of principal. Always conduct your own research and seek guidance from a professional investment advisor. I am not a professional investment advisor. I'm Dollar Will. Let's try to get this money. Happy post-election day. Gotta tell you something. Markets don't care about elections. If you're hearing this video from one I put up early, it's basically the same thing. I had a little technical issue where my computer does not like to switch over to the microphone input. And it starts playing the internal microphone. It sounded horrible. I couldn't stand to hear it. So I'm doing it again. So save yourself some time. You've heard all this before. If you clicked on the link before I was able to make it private, then this is a repeat of everything, basically. This is Biogen. It's up, I think it is high as like 43%, 41, 43, somewhere in like that, just today. You think they care who won? They don't care. Why? It said, whoa, nice. It was up 1.41. Nice. This is really nice. Why? U.S. experts review Biogen drug that could be first new Alzheimer's treatment in decades. That's why. It's time for me to look at that space a little bit more. We know we had Moderna and other drugs working on, I don't want to say that word, the cooties cure, the cure for the cooties, the killer cooties. Okay, maybe that's what I call it, the killer cooties. Okay, they're working on that, and stocks move within industries, and industries move within sectors. So when you see something pop like this in one, you get the next logical thing is to look at other things in that industry. And we know that Moderna and those other cooties drugs had a big run up, and at some point they're going to settle down. They're going to find the level at which they can resume their uptrend, and it's time to look at those again. I won't be digging into those in this video. This video I'm going to keep it simple about the major indexes, but I wanted to make this point that life goes on, markets go on, capitalism continues. It doesn't pause to find out who won. All right, let's start with the S&P 500, the home of everyone's retirement account. Just to make the point, so we had a nice run up, and starting in September, we had a little trouble. September the 2nd to the 24th, had a little trouble, had a run up, came back down. The good news about this part when we came back down is that we stopped without making a lower low. So that means this trend continues. And we're in my opinion, I think we're in another one of these long channels. We're going to be in another one of these long channels that's going to extend throughout the year into January. That's my opinion. What we have here is some gap action. You see how these two first candlesticks, they kind of overlap each other. This green is into the territory of this red here. That's a normal, casual uptrend, but this is excitement, enthusiasm. You get these gaps where not only do they not overlap, in this case, you have a gap, a space between them. That's people pouring into the market. They're like, get me in. I don't care about the price. Buy. They're using market orders to get in. They're not trying to save a few pennies by getting the perfect price. They're pressing the button. They're saying, let me in this now. And this is for the S&P 500, our retirement account. So a lot of retirement accounts are going to see tremendous growth, in my opinion, between now and into January. Let's look at the Dow. Similar thing here. Got a little gap right there. Similar there too. Let me get this away from the volume. This one doesn't even have a wick at the bottom. So it opened right here and just kept going higher. This one doesn't have a wick at the bottom either. Neither does this one. So as soon as the candlestick, the open price was the low. The open of this candle was the low. The open of this candle was the low. So that's just people slamming the button saying, market order, let me in, let me in, let me in. Meanwhile, everybody's talking about the election and thinking that the election affects markets, and smart money is getting in now. And by the time people stop paying attention to elections, the price is going to be up here and likely higher than September high, and their money will be safe because we will have broken through this resistance of this price, and they'll be sitting pretty. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple is the market cap leader. Market cap means that there's more money in this one stock than in any other stock in America. Any stock trade on the American exchange. This is it. The market cap leader. And what do we see? A gap. A space between the high yesterday and the low today is gapping. And most folks aren't even paying attention. You see, the volume is not really high, but it will catch up. I think the volume is going to show up when people stop paying attention so much to who won, and they realize that there's money to be made. They're going to pour in, and I think this run is going to continue. It's off to the races. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. But before we do that, let's look at the dollar, because Bitcoin is measured in terms of how it does relative to the dollar. And the dollar is more important. Let's not forget that. So we're using the Dixie ETF. So the dollar hit a low in September and was kind of going up to sideways. We had a nice run. We came back down, but the bottom held. I could make an argument that we got a reverse head and shoulders pattern going on. This would be the left shoulder. This would be the head. This would be the right shoulder. And we'd have to break out above here, but let's not count chickens, unless it's Popeye's chicken sandwiches. I haven't had one of them in a while. All right, back to this. Today's candlestick, what we have is an outside move, meaning that the price moved outside the range of yesterday's price action. So we got a low here. We went lower than that today. Yesterday, this was the high, but we went higher than that today. And so that kind of wicked shift where this kind of turbulence, it happens when big money comes in and takes control of an otherwise downtrend. You get this action where it's overshooting. I think that we may see some gap. I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar starts gapping, just like what we're seeing with the S&P and the Dow. Let's look at Bitcoin. Daily chart. Well, I'll give it some credit. We got a higher high today. It's the low from yesterday has held. Let's go down. Well, before I go down, let's get some perspective. Even monthly, let's do the monthly. We had a swing low, swing high. We went from overbought to oversold, back up to overbought. In Elliott wave theory terms, we would see this as an A and a B. And what comes after B? C. C is lower than A. I believe that we are going to see Bitcoin flip and go lower. Make a low lower than this. I'm not talking fall off the page. It could just go minimally lower. It could just go minimally lower. But I think we got to complete this ABC pattern. And I see the dollar as having a higher high in store. And so that dollar strength is going to result in some weakness in Bitcoin. It's going to finish this pattern, in my opinion. We'll see how that goes. But let's go a little further down into the lower time frames and see what's going on. If we can spot some weakness, this thing is rolling. We got the makings of a candlestick pattern called a shooting star, which is a reversal kind of pattern. Let me see. I don't know what this came from. A little stray mark. I think it's from the other attempt to look at it. This is an hourly chart. It looks kind of exhausted up here. You notice how we were running up. Each candlestick was kind of staircasing higher. Then we kind of hit a plateau here and we went higher. And we're on a plateau now. So the question is, will we go higher again or will we reverse? We'll see. Depends on the dollar. If the dollar moves higher, that has the result in Bitcoin weakness. The symbol is Bitcoin relative to the US dollar. Dollar strength means Bitcoin weakness. Dollar weakness means Bitcoin strength. The dollar seems to want to run higher, and Bitcoin seems kind of exhausted right now. It's got this nice volume spike. Could be all the people that want it at this price bought it. So this is a picture of not buy low, sell high, but buy high, expecting it to go higher. I don't like that bet. Let's go down to 15 minutes, okay? Well, as long as it stays above these highs, this trend, this low here was at 3 o'clock this morning. So I would focus on this low from 3 a.m. As long as that holds, that I wouldn't. I would say that no movement is really down or significant until it takes that out. And then it has to take out this low from Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. It would basically reverse the steps. It would start. Let's see. We got a nice looking channel right here. Nice looking channel. I say as long as this structure holds. That's the argument for the continued rise. I could see it having a pullback and then continuing higher. I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying for the bullish camp, it could have a slight decline here, stay within the channel, and still continue higher, and that structurally would be fine. Let's see something. Something like that. I'm trying to be conservative in this call about Bitcoin. I say that would be a fair channel support. That would be fair. I could draw it extreme from, oh, I thought this was the price, huh? That's the volume. So that is near the low. I thought it had a long wick at the bottom. So this is basically about what it is. So yeah, that would be the support of the whole move since March. So as long as Bitcoin stays above that, Bitcoin is fine, but I think it's going to roll over at some point. I think we're going to retest this low and go minimally below it. And by that time, the dollar should be where it needs to be. And then the dollar should be ready to resume its long trend down. I'm just note, I am bullish the dollar, and most people are not. But we'll see. See how it goes. Let's take a look at gold, since you guys are gold bugs out there. Dollar strength is bad for gold too. Let's see. Let's peek over the monthly real quick. This was the high in 2011, came down and made a new high. And this new high is puzzling to me. Okay. Especially when I look at silver, because the silver chart looks like a mirror of the dollar, and that's normal. Gold has gone rogue. It's off the reservation. It's doing its own thing. Now, gold making this higher high, I can make an argument against my opinion that it's going to fall. And that argument would be that we got a wave 1, 2, 3, and we should have a pullback to like a wave 4. So the dollar can be strong right now and make a little mini run. Maybe the dollar doesn't go as high in the run as I think it will. And the gold does have a little minor pullback and then continues higher. One final push. That's the most important thing. Higher, one final push. And then that's it. And we're looking at the GLD. This ETF holds a lot of gold in it. Because gold is overbought right now. It is overbought. It's due for a bit of a pullback. But it may not be as steep as let me say this. It may not be as steep right now. It's what I think it ultimately will be. So that's a way of saying the top in gold may not be in. So we may get a minor pullback right here. Take you back to this level that we saw in early June of this year. We might get a minor pullback and then a thrust higher to new highs, all-time highs. And then hell. But hell is near. Hell is pretty certain with this gold thing. And I got a video on my channel where I look at long-term charts for gold. Check it out. It's got a picture of gold and a stop sign. Everybody should check that out. Because you're not going to hear that kind of red pill truth until it's too late. You know, you're not going to hear that until it starts falling, and all the people, you know, that I was going to say the people that matter, but y'all know what I mean. The power players. It's not that they matter and we don't, but the ballers, once they've gotten their money out, then they'll tell you, you know, about how overboard it is and how much it needs to correct. But I can see this thing coming down to here at least. Let's just say at a minimum, I don't see any way around gold not falling to here. I don't see how it's going to duck that. You know, so we discussed gold, we discussed Bitcoin, the dollar, Apple. We looked at the gap action activity on the S&P 500 and the Dow. I think that's enough. It's, these are good times for trading or for just riding a wave. The S&P 500 is coming off of a bottom. I think people are going to be feeling good about their long-term financial situation as we approach Thanksgiving and Christmas. Our concerns are really more immediate, having to do with our health and surviving the cootie killer, you know. So y'all be safe. Drink that vitamin C or eat the vitamin C. Let me say that. The orange is better than the juice. The fiber. Peace.